Maybe by a show of hands before we get started. And again, welcome to our first webinar. So replacing our lunch and learns for review of supply chain careers, sponsored by Supply Chain OKI. My name is Maria Reynolds, and I'm the youth leader for our Northern Kentucky high schools. And we have with us as well Greg Hudson from Supply Chain OKI, who is the youth program leader for our Ohio high schools. By a show of hands, can you raise your hand for me if you are a faculty or administrative within your institution? Okay, keep your hands up.
Hold on.
Okay.
Thought I saw the hand.
Can't see some of the screens. How about, thank you so much. How about, do we have any students on the line? Raise your hand if you're a student. Okay, 1, 2, 3, perfect. Okay, so it looks like we're about half our faculty or staff or half our students. So thank you so much for joining. So we'll jump into the webinar. We'll do some quick introductions. Again, if you want to change your screen to a speaker mode, you should be able, if you look at your picture up in the right, the pictures you have in your right-hand side of your screen, you can control who you see. So let me go ahead and get started. So Supply Chain OKI, and then I'll introduce our panelist for today. But we work closely with employers and educators and actually our community organizations. And our real goal is to find workforce solutions, meaning we're really working to make sure that anyone who wants a job can get a job in the supply chain industry, and that we're helping the employers then fill their workforce needs. So today we're going to review who we are, and we're going to talk about supply chain and why supply chain. And then we're going to actually we have 3 companies with us today that are going to talk about what kind of career paths they have within their company and how you can apply for a job within that company. We'll open it up then for questions. We'll have a discussion, and then we'll discuss our next steps. We have about 30 minutes of a presentation, and then I know some people have a hard stop at the end of that 30 minutes, so I know you'll be stepping away. But if you can stay for the questions and answers, I think there might be some really good questions and more in-depth discussion to help you. Okay, so let me admit somebody here really quick. So as we get ready for our panel discussion, we have 3 companies with us today. The first one is Amstan Logistics, and we have Marty Grogan with us from Amstan. He's going to be doing a lot of talking because he's doing the majority of the facilitation today. Thank you, Marty. We then have Wayfair, so Taku is joining us, and I think Emily is on the line as well from Wayfair. And then from Amazon, we have Brandon. And you're going to hear from all of these individuals as we talk about, again, what supply chain means within those companies. So, Greg, I'm going to turn it over to you. You can maybe talk this slide around, supply chain OKI in general.
Sure. As Maria mentioned, our organization is called Supply Chain OKI, and we've been in existence for about 5 years now. We are a nonprofit, and we were formed to play several different roles. This is an exciting time, we believe, to be in the supply chain field. There's just significant opportunities that you'll hear about today, and we see the outlook continuing to grow. So our organization plays several roles. One of the roles we play is we believe that we need to provide education and training on what a supply chain career looks like. So we play that role both in high schools as well as with some of the local colleges. We also play a liaison role between our various partners. We have business partners, some of them you'll talk to or you'll hear about from today. We have educational partners, other community colleges, local schools, and we have community partners. Urban League, organizations that are trying to grow the community's outreach. So we work as liaisons between all those various partners to, as I mentioned, grow the supply chain field, provide opportunities for folks to have a supply chain career, and bridge that gap in understanding so that folks really understand what's out there, and that's the role we tend to play. The hashtag is Supply Chain OKI is actually our website, so you can go there and get more information on your organization and learn about supply chain fields as well as our business partners. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so Marty, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks. So, you know, on the first screen is what Greg had said. This is an outstanding opportunity to be in the supply chain industry. And one of the things, a couple reasons why that's so. This is a job, an opportunity you can get straight out of high school at age 18. I think you have to be 18 for most of the companies within our organization. Or you can have a college education, 2-year, 4-year, whatever it might be. So, and we're looking for a lot of people, and we'll show that a little bit later on. What this screen is detecting here is that, you know, most people who graduate college have some sort of student loan or some sort of debt, and that debt can be daunting, and sometimes it's concerning. Most companies within the supply chain industry have tuition reimbursement. I'm with a small company. We only have 70 people here at this company, but we do offer tuition reimbursement for our people. You have to be here 6 months in order to qualify for it, but it is something that we do offer. I'm actually going to toss it over here to Brandon and to Ku as well. Brandon, I can start with you. Does Amazon offer a tuition reimbursement? How's that look?
Yes, Amazon does have tuition reimbursement. After 1 year of working with Amazon, if you want to go to college for a specific degree, they'll either pay for like 95% of the tuition cost. It's mostly 2-year degrees, and I have a kind of a list of some of them, but it goes over a bunch of different options that Amazon has.
Taku, how about you?
Yep.
Wayfair.
So at Wayfair, we also have tuition reimbursement, and what it looks like is you need to be a full-time employee for at least 6 months with us. So if you have been working with us for 6 months, you're qualified to apply for tuition reimbursement, and just making sure that the courses you pick are related to your career, to your future career. So since we offer a variety of direction you can take your career to, you'll be able to pick a lot of different programs or degrees to go for, and then the company will pay up to $5,250 a year.
And that's outstanding. And that is something that I would highly recommend that anybody who, if you decide to go into the workforce straight out of high school, ask that question to a potential employer and ask if they offer tuition reimbursement and what that looks like, because that could be a significant advantage to get your college education paid for. As Brandon said, 95%. That's outstanding. So why supply chain? Why would we sit here and talk about supply chain? It's the second fastest growing field in the country behind healthcare. And it's growing all the time. One of the, you know, so as you can see here on the second bullet point, 50,000 jobs were offered on LinkedIn just this past month. And the other part I would bring up too is Greater Cincinnati is a hotbed for supply chain. And one of the reasons is because we have basically the four major modes of transportation. We have the road going north and south with 75 and 71. We also have it going east and west with 70 and 50 and 74. We have rail. We have air with the Northern Kentucky hub, and we also have water with the river. Now, the river's not used as much to say as the ocean would, but it's still being used, and it's still a major mode of transportation in this area. Brand, I'm going to toss it to you real quick, because how many facilities in the greater Cincinnati area does Amazon have alone?
We have CVG 1, 2, CVG 5 and 9. We have like 7 or 8 buildings in the greater Cincinnati area that you can apply to either for full-time or part-time.
And aren't you opening a prime hub coming up in next year?
Yeah, like 2021 or 2022, there's going to be this Amazon Air Hub that'll be opening, which will be it's going to be bigger than most of our other facilities. So it's going to be plenty of jobs or different things you want to do within Amazon. If you're like into not just the warehouse work, but if you want to do logistics or something like that, it's going to have a lot of options.
And so when you take a look at the supply chain jobs in the US, 50,000 this past month on LinkedIn alone, does Amazon have any of those locally?
It kind of just depends on the way it works is a lot of that will be internal. So once you start with Amazon, you'll start at the warehouse stuff, but you can internally apply upwards. So just because you're at the warehouse position now, it doesn't mean that's where you're going to be forever. After like 30 days in the building, you're able to start applying and moving forward.
Okay. Taku, what about Wayfair?
Yep. So we have 3 buildings here in Northern Kentucky, which is Florence, Erlanger, and Hebron. And we have a lot of opportunities on all those 3 buildings. We are currently hiring in all of the buildings for both skilled and unskilled labor. And it can be full-time, seasonal, part-time positions. We have a variety of roles to choose from.
And so when you just talk locally, from a standpoint of hiring, that because there are so many job openings, that creates competition. That competition creates higher wages. They're almost competing for additional people. So again, even if you're going to be that non-traditional student, you're going to go, or even if you're a traditional student and want to work while you're at college, there are some great opportunities for both part-time and full-time students.
Mario, let me just jump in. The 50,000 jobs that are quoted here on LinkedIn, you can see a little closer, those are entry-level jobs. So those would be people that are currently in high school that are the right age, or could be anybody just leaving high school. There are so many jobs out there, and that's across the US.
Thank you.
So we're going to watch a video here very quickly. It's about a 5-minute video, and hopefully I should have it queued up for us here. Okay, got it ready. Sorry, guys, I was trying to read out.
Each day, more than 30 million tons of goods move through the United States. The very things that keep you fed, clothed, and connected. Products you eat, wear, and enjoy because of suppliers, manufacturers, shippers, and receivers. Take candy, for instance. A candy company gets the ingredients to make its candy from suppliers all over the world. At the factory, the candy is made, labeled, packaged, and shipped to a warehouse for storage. When an order for a product is placed, boxes of candy have to be pulled from the shelf, where it is taken to a local distribution center before another truck delivers it to the store. These moving parts make up what is known as the global supply chain. And whether you are supplying, making, or moving a product, you need many people and services to support the company, like HR, finance, marketing, engineering, IT, sales, and more. Imagine what would happen if any part of this chain broke. Candy would not make it to the store or to my home, and that's a problem. I started my career in the supply chain just out of high school driving a tug. I didn't want to rack up debt from college loans when I wasn't sure what to do with my life. I knew I wanted a fast-paced job in a sizable company that would give me the financial freedom to live on my own. Supply chain careers offer competitive salaries, health benefits, and many opportunities for career growth. Shortly after joining the company, I received several promotions.
Based upon your most recent performance evaluation, we're going to go ahead and give you a promotion. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I was given a management position, and I couldn't be happier in my career choice in supply chain management. Everything I had to learn, I learned from the companies that employed me in supply chain. Many companies in supply chain will even pay for your college tuition, so you don't go into debt. I don't think people realize how important the role technology plays in the manufacturing, distribution, and shipment of goods. There are so many moving parts that need to come together. Every day is exciting, different, and rewarding. Supply chain companies invest millions of dollars each year into technology that tracks every detail of the supply chain. From manufacture to purchase, companies monitor goods to ensure maximum efficiency, profitability, and customer satisfaction. There are numerous high school programs designed to give you a head start and work experience in the supply chain career right now, so you already have an edge to start work right after graduation. And once you get hired, there's really no limit to where your career can take you. So whether you envision yourself making candy, working with robotics, flying planes, or overseeing it all from a big office boardroom, dream big. A career in supply chain awaits.
I'm trying to stop the music. Okay, perfect. Back to the presentation.
What's great about that video is it was produced locally by Supply Chain OKI, and it includes local companies as well. So everybody you saw in that video was a local company. Jurgensen, Perfetti, DHL, TQL, iHerb, all local companies. So that technology and everything you've seen was right here. And also what you saw in that video is that, I think there's a misunderstanding that supply chain is about warehousing and moving boxes from point A to point B, but it's so much more than that. And what you're seeing in that video is that you see sales, customer service. Yes, it includes warehousing, material handling, but also you have your data analytics, your technology, your demand planning, transportation. All of that's included. And I used to have a gentleman I used to do these panels discussions with would challenge students to come up with a profession that they were interested in, and then he could tie that back to somehow into supply chain management. And I'd be happy to answer those type of questions for anybody on this as well. Tell us what you're interested in, and we'll tell you how, if you wanted to pursue that dream, how you can help the supply chain industry with what your passions are. Taku, Brandon, both of you two could probably talk a little bit more detail about how all these opportunities and probably more that you see on this screen pertain to your company specifically.
Yep. So most of these careers highlighted here, these are careers you can do with Wayfair. Some of them will probably be on our headquarters, or some of them you can actually work from home, like our sales and customer service management. We recently just hired like 1,000 sales and customer service associates who work remotely. And then locally, you can do all the warehousing, material handling, inventory control, even technology. We hire industrial engineers and IT people who help us in our facilities. So there are a lot of different career directions you can take your career to within a supply chain company.
And Amazon's very similar with that as well. A lot of that you can be doing in the warehouse, you can do it at the headquarters. And a lot of these positions, if you are interested in maybe doing a degree with them, are covered by Amazon's career choice. Transportation, the IT, the data analytics, all that stuff, Amazon helps. If you are interested in that, they'll help you guide your way to get to the career path that you want to do.
Something I was going to add to this, It's kind of a little bit of a personal story. My son is a junior up at University of Dayton, and well, both all my kids, I try to gear, try to push a little bit toward the supply chain, but not unlike kids, they don't want to follow in their father's footsteps per se. Anyway, my one son got into what's called sustainability, and it didn't dawn on him at the time, but sustainability is a huge push now in the supply chain industry. Most major companies, if not all major companies, are in some way, shape, or form looking at the sustainability of how they can keep doing business, whether it's be more green, things like that. And so what's funny is all his internship opportunities are now in supply chain. The next couple pictures are actually going to show you, just in picture form, some of the opportunities that are available. I talked earlier about the four modes of transportation, four major modes of transportation. You have your water, your air, your rail, and your road. And we have all of that here in the greater Cincinnati area, which is why you're going to see a lot of manufacturing, distribution, and logistics companies just stationed here. The one picture I was going to highlight is the one on the bottom right. Normally, in a classroom study, I would ask for a show of hands of how many students play video games or how many have actually flown a drone before, and 99, if not 100% of people's hands go up. The question that follows that is, how would you like to get paid to fly a drone or to play video games? And that's really where technology is leading towards in this world in supply chain management. So anybody that has that type of mentality, that technology mentality, or somebody who has that type of capabilities of essentially playing video games, there's going to be a role to be played coming up in the near future. This is some of the technology, again, outlying in the supply chain when you're talking about warehousing. You have, your fork trucks that have been used in the top left-hand corner, your pallet jacks, which is the second one from the top, from left to right. Those have been used in warehouses almost since the beginning of time. And then you get some additional technology capabilities that you're going to see with the conveyors. And then, that bottom, on the bottom row, second from the left, that's what's called an ASRS system. That technology is really kind of cool. Automated retrieval, automated storage systems. Same with the pick to light, which is the third one. And then that Kivo system in the bottom right-hand corner is a pretty cool little piece of technology too. And Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, did Amazon buy that technology from Kivo?
I'm not 1,000% sure. We do have like Kiva technology in a lot of our warehouses. So I don't know if they have bought it and owned it, but I know we use it. At our Prime Pantry location, we use the Kiva robots all the time.
And it's really kind of cool technology because basically the person stands still and the robots go picks up the shelvings and brings it to you. So you're keeping that wear and tear off your body of walking around in a warehouse all day. Again, the technology side of what we're doing, working smarter, not harder, is extremely important in the supply chain and supply chain management. Just because, when you go back to, I think it was like the seventh slide that just talked about how many people we need in this industry. If you can't find enough people, you need to have technology kind of fill that void a little bit. But technology can't fill all the void, so we're still going to need a lot of people. And then really, this last slide talks a little bit more about the analytics side of it, okay? Data analytics is a huge part of supply chain management. So if you're a numbers person, if you're somebody that likes to crunch numbers, that really has that kind of mindset, and that's beyond me, I do not. But if you have that mindset of data analytics, supply chain management is a great profession to take a look at because we're always looking for ways to be more lean, to work smarter, to make improvements. It's a continuous improvement process for every supply chain, and it's really a 12-month a year work in progress to always try to work harder, do a better job of becoming more lean, cut costs, do things smarter, work smarter in that regard. And that's really kind of what that's talking about. And then really, one of the last slides, I believe, on this is really talking a little bit about the pay structure and what the opportunities are out there. And so when you talk about the entry level point positions of anywhere from $9, $10 up to 18, so on and so forth, in the greater Cincinnati area, with the way that there's competition for employees, and I talk about this in my industry, which is transportation management. We compete more for good people than we do for for business. There's plenty of business to be had out there if you're doing a good job. But finding good people to do that business, to do that job, is becoming more and more difficult. Um, and that's the other question too. Is how do you keep retaining your people so that they don't want to go somewhere else? That's another huge issue with supply chain companies. Guys, you want to talk, Brandon, Taku? You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would think that most of these jobs, especially locally, they would think they don't pay that much, but actually, people are making good money for a good living, working in distribution centers. I would say, like, for example, at Wayfair, driving a cherry picker, you can make up to $21 an hour, which is really good when you look at it. So it's just something to think about, all these opportunities that you still get paid enough and you still be able to get your tuition reimbursement and start your career.
And with Amazon, like our base pay is the 15, and they raised that a couple, I think it was like a year or two ago when they raised that. But for a part-time, during our peak seasons, they always do different differentials. So if you are interested in part-time while doing college, like sometimes during our busiest times, there'll be like an extra bonus of like sometimes like $5 or $3 added on to it. So it kind of just depends on the type of year. But people really do get more money than they think when they're doing these jobs, and then the opportunities down the line of it continuing with Amazon or just doing a career choice and maybe finding a different path that works for you. It's all right there.
And I'll add one more to this slide. I have a gentleman, an individual that works for me. He's in sales. He's in the inside sales. So when you saw a picture a few back ago with somebody with a headset on, this is what he does. He's 28 years old and he made $300,000 this past year. He's on pace to do about 250 this year, just because of the economy being with the pandemic. It's not quite as much, but that's 28 years old. Now he earns it. He puts in the time. He's working 7 days a week. But he's eventually going to have to make a decision. Does he want to go into management and actually make less money, or does he want to keep that lifestyle where he's working? And so again, if you put in the effort, you do a good job, get the continuous education. There's good money to be had here in the supply chain industry. And these are just some of the skills that I think every company looks for. Again, whether you're in supply chain or not, but these are the type of people that we're looking for. Education is important, but at the end of the day, we need to have somebody that has good communication skills, writing skills, to the reading comprehension. Are they listening? If can you do your basic math, ability to follow directions? Problem solving is a huge one. I think most companies are looking for people that can take a look at something and say, okay, maybe we could do this a little bit better, and bring those type of suggestions up. Those are the type of people that end up in management roles, people that can look at something and maybe figure out a way to do it a little bit better and aren't afraid to bring it up in a respectful manner at all. Brandon, Taku, you want to add anything to that?
Yep, I can just add, like, especially when it comes to a team player, if you are somebody who wanna like move up the chain to become like an operations manager one day, you really need to be a good team player and have those gain those leadership skills as you work with other people when you start working in a warehouse, and that will provide you with other opportunities to move around the company and move up the ladder.
And I agree with that as well for the Amazon. Uh, There's also, we have opportunities that have like little classroom settings that managers and operation managers sometimes hold for, just like training on that, like training on skills for like prepping resumes for interviews, tackling problem solving and stuff. You can sign up for it. It's free to do. And then it's available for any of the people in the warehouse or any position. So it all helps you kind of get the skills that you need if you don't already have them.
Okay.
And just to kind of summarize what we're looking at here, um, you know, why would you want to consider supply chain? Well, there's great opportunities out there. There's competitive salaries. We talked about tuition reimbursement, career advancements, career mobility. The one thing we haven't talked about is internships. So, if you do decide to go to a college, whether it's 2 to 4 years, we have internships. Almost like I said, I'm a small company. We're 70 people, but we do hire 3 to 4 different interns. Brandon, Taku, do you guys do you do internships or co-op opportunities as well?
So when it comes to internship locally, we're actually in the process of developing what it's going to look like for our local distribution centers. So most of the internships we have right now, they'll be more on the corporate side of the company.
Okay.
It's pretty similar with Amazon. Most of the internships are corporate. They are working as well on figuring out what their plan is going to look like for internships down the line for non-corporate side of stuff.
Hey, Marty, I would add that Wayfair also last year we started doing some co-op roles with the high school students. That was very, very successful. So high school individuals that were looking for part-time opportunities, we developed a co-op program for them, and we've been doing it. Looking forward to doing it again this year with them. So that was a great launching point for some folks that wanted to kind of test the waters a bit before making the final decision about whether or not they want to move into supply chain.
That's excellent. And whether you want to stay locally, I've been a person, as pathetic as this sounds, who's never moved 30 minutes away from his parents. I've always been in the greater Cincinnati area. But if you want to branch out a little bit further than that and work regionally, nationally, globally, there's opportunities within the supply chain. And while I'm a local company with 70 people, Amazon, Wayfair, you are much more national and global than we are in reach and depth. Is that correct?
Yep, that's
Yes.
correct. Oh, sorry. With Wi-Fi, you have an opportunity to work like almost in everywhere because we are all over the US, Canada, Europe. So that gives a lot of other opportunities.
Yeah, we are also global. You can work anywhere in, like, there's a lot of different positions in the US. There's options in Canada, across the seas. Kind of just depends what you're looking for and what level of position it's at.
And I know they're not speaking today, but we have a couple of former Procter and Gamble people on the call as well. And if you want, there's no more global of a company than Procter and Gamble, who's corporately located in our backyard. So there's just outstanding opportunities locally, regionally, nationally, and globally.
Mhm.
So just real quick, talk a little bit about myself. As I mentioned before, I work with a company called Amstan Logistics. We are a non-asset-based third-party transportation management company. What that means is we don't own any trucks, we don't own any assets, we don't own any rail or boats or anything like that. But what we do is we work with manufacturing and distribution companies to help streamline and cut costs in their transportation division. And typically, transportation is a company's third largest expense behind people and material. So what we do is again work with them to help them cut down. So the type of people we're looking for, we're essentially a sales organization. So 70% of the people that work for us are in the sales roles, but we also have a lot of analysts, technical, because we're a technology driven company. We also have a decent sized IT staff. We have our financial service, customer service, and actually, so when you talk about customer service and brokers, which are on the right hand side of that slide, we I consider those salespeople as well because they're either selling to different carriers or they're selling to the customers that we have already on base. So again, like 70% of the people that we have on staff is probably sales. But for the most part, we do offer a lot of other open positions in that. We do have a recruiting department as well. We go to a lot of the high schools and the college looking for people that want to come on board at an entry level position. I am more than happy to answer any questions additionally about what we do. But what you'll find in the greater Cincinnati area is per capita, we have more transportation management and brokers than any other city in the country. I would put money on that one just because of how many people are in this area from a brokerage standpoint.
And I'm here representing Wayfair. So we are in the furniture and home space, and we try to provide a best-in-class customer experience. And locally, our Wayfair distribution centers, they play a really key role in making sure we keep our customers satisfied by delivering the products they order online on time and making sure they get their products in good shape. And we are always hiring, especially when it comes to warehouse associates and equipment operators. You can earn up to $21 an hour. And if you're a full-time employee, benefits starts from day one. And one of the benefits we have been offering, which really popular within Wayfair, is the meals to go. So each week, every employee in our warehouse will get a meal for the family, not just for the employee, him or herself, but for the whole family twice a week. So that's something that's been really good. And also, just the tuition reimbursement is really something that we are proud to offer, because it helps a lot of people, especially those who are just coming out of high school and they don't want to go to college directly and want to go work for a company that will help them pay for their tuition. And just the fact that you can really pick any program that's related to your career within Wayfair. You have a lot of choice you can take, or degrees you can go for. So we offer a variety of roles within Wayfair, locally or globally, and some of them they include like operations management, finance, engineering, HR, technology, transportation, safety, and many more. And one of the things I'm really proud of, especially working at Wayfair, is that some of our people who are in management positions, they actually started their careers as seasonal employees or just temps in our warehouse and end up being our operations managers or work in HR or have other positions within the company. So that's something that's really cool. I feel like a lot of high school students should consider when they are looking for companies to work for and what they want to do in their careers, just looking at those opportunities of how a company can help you grow as a person.
In Amazon, we are, whenever you start working, you'll hear that we talk about a lot at stand-ups is we're customer obsessed. So we work around the clock to make sure packages get delivered on time, that customers are happy, because if the customers are happy, they'll continue to support Amazon. And then we have a lot of different things to do in the building outside of the tier 1 associates, like the warehouse stuff. Once you start, I myself was a warehouse worker like 3 years ago, and I internally moved up to now like staffing / HR. And anything is available as long as it's like within the means that you can do, or it's something you're interested in. Once you start working with Amazon, we hire for full-time, part-time. You have the career choice if you are full-time or part-time. The benefits differ depending on if you're doing full-time or part-time. The base pay is like $15, and it varies during our peak time for part-time. Just how busy the season is, and kind of depends on how many people are ordering for Christmas and the holidays. But there are so many options in Amazon that are available for you. Actually, a lot of people in our office for our staffing office, 3 or 4 of us have all came from the buildings, and we're a warehouse worker and now into staffing. So there's a lot of stuff like that. You can work at IT, and you can move up through there. You can work seasonally in a job. So you'll work seasonally in IT for one peak season and try it out and see if you enjoy it. And then you can go through the process of interviewing for that actual position.
Okay, so just do a quick review. Thank you, gentlemen. Fantastic information on your companies, great opportunities. These are the business partners that we do work with. So you are speaking to 3 of them right now. We have educational partners as well. You can see here, including NKU, Gateway, Sullivan, and these are our community partners. So organizations that assist in workforce development and are working jointly with us to help, again, fulfill jobs. So I'm going to stop right there, and I know we're running a little bit late. I think probably a few people had to drop off. I haven't checked, but no, it looks like everyone.
One more thing.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Marty.
If nothing else, I know we went through a lot of information very quickly. I would highly recommend to everybody, the students specifically, to do a Google search of supply chain OKI. And if you're interested in supply chain, I would send an email out to and Jesse, Greg, Maria. They'll get this email. There is nobody more connected into the supply chain industry in Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, than the 3 of them. And if you want introductions into companies, or if you want to learn more about what companies are doing, I would highly recommend reaching out and learning more.
Thank you, Marty. Excellent. So let me go ahead and open up. Looks like no one's dropped off yet, which is good. Do we have any questions? So I'll just ask you to, if you could, you can turn on your microphone and you should be able to unmute yourself, and also you could share your screen so we could see you. Any questions?
Goodness.
Gosh, no questions at all. We answered everything in our presentation. Great job, people. That's awesome. You know, as Marty said, you know, we are here to help in multiple ways. So as Greg introduced early on, Supply Chain OKI absolutely will help with educational programs like this to understand career pathways in supply chain. But we also are doing hiring events. We're having a hiring event on September 22nd, next Tuesday. If you are interested, I can send the link in the flyer if you haven't received it already to sign up to be part of that hiring event. We will have 5 companies who are actually hiring both part-time and full-time workers. And we're going to have a hiring event on a monthly basis. So if you can't make the September one, we will have one October, November, skip December, but starting back in January as well.
Hey,
I have a
Maria.
question.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna add, like when you were talking about hiring events, something cool we're actually doing tomorrow. We're going to be doing like a drive-through hiring event, which means somebody will come through and you'll be interviewed from your car, so you don't even have to leave your car or anything, socially distanced. So that's just something we are doing.
Good. Anything? Any other questions?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's it called? Do you have job opportunities with any additional abilities like special needs or anything like that?
So Brandon, Taku, or Marty? The question is, do you have job opportunities for people with disabilities or special needs?
When you
So
could, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it'll probably be depend on the type of position. If it's something like actually in a warehouse doing physical labor, obviously it'll be a requirement for the job for somebody to be able to lift up to a certain amount of weight. But then if it's an office job where somebody is able to do the job, having disabilities doesn't disqualify them for the job.
For our hire events, if we have anybody who has they think they may need accommodations, we usually put an accommodations request. I know we've worked with all abilities in the past for some of our other people that have done like community engagement stuff. So I know we have options available, but usually whenever they come through the process at our office and we're doing the pre-hire work, we'll make the accommodation request there and kind of walk you through like what to expect next. And then they'll help you out after the pre-hire stuff right before your day one at Amazon.
I got a question for you too at Amazon. I've been wanting to try to work there, but I don't know how I'm supposed to do it with school and all. But do you guys like have full-time and part-time jobs like for school? Like if I go there, you know?
So we have the full-time and part-time. They do usually work with the school schedules, assuming it's like if you're like outside of high school, college. Part-time, if you have physical classes, they will work your schedule around those. Full-time, it kind of just depends on like what time you're looking for, like day shift, night shift, and what your schedule is. But HR in the past has usually been really good at working with schedules for students.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your questions.
I've got a question and a comment. This is Eric Skeen. I'm a high school teacher at a place called the Ignite Institute in Erlanger, Kentucky. And I mean, Maria, this is a really good presentation that you've got everyone putting on here. One of the things that I try to emphasize to my students is just really how many opportunities there are. And I think you can really tell that there are so many opportunities just given the way that some of the employers are coming up with very creative ways to try to attract potential employees. I mean, Wayfair, I mean, the drive-through interview process. That's interesting. The meals to go. I mean, Amazon with the extra pay, of course, during the peak seasons. I mean, there's just a lot of good things that it just seems as though it's a great opportunity for students. They're all going to be watching. I think I've assigned this video to them for this upcoming Monday, but I think that this is going to be some really great information. It'll give us an opportunity to talk about a lot of the things that these companies are doing, and then also at the same time just where they could possibly fit into one of those companies. So thank you. No real question.
Well, as a reminder, we will be doing this monthly as well with other companies. And so
Yes.
as you talk to your students, please remember that.
Yep, thank you.
Great. Hey, any other questions? Okay, so to wrap things up then, we are scheduling, we haven't locked on the company yet, but we are going to do a business partner tour on Wednesday, September 30th at 12 noon. So similar kind of format like this. It would be a webinar on Zoom. We will not do the tour live. It will be a recorded tour of the operations. But we will then, after watching the tour, we will then open it up for questions and answers about the operations. And so, our plan is every month when we do these webinars for the supply chain career pathways, we will follow up 2 weeks later with the business partner tour. So we've been, for instance, talking with Brandon and Amazon that possibly we would use them in a couple of weeks as to be able to watch a video together and then answer questions so that you can see the operations. Okay. And then the other thing is you can go to Supply Chain OKI, our website, and you can spend some time there and just share what you've learned today and share opportunities with your friends and family. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to ask the presenters, our panel, to stay on. But before I close it out, I just want to do a special thanks to Marty and Taku and Brandon for their time today. 3 wonderful companies that I absolutely would encourage you to explore. And thank you, Greg, for your partnership in leading the youth programs across the river. And again, thanks everyone for your participation today. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.